That look okay? Or do I zoom in a bit? That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, just got to find. Just trying to find the live quick view.
That's all right.
Oh, there it is.
There's nobody joined yet. We're okay. Okay. Any chance you could share it?
Yeah.
That's all right. Oh, look. There you go.
That's me. There you go.
Thank you. We'll just wait a few minutes. See if anyone joins us.
Just me.
Yeah, just you. Just see if anyone joins us. If not, I'll start and people might join in.
I shared it.
Careful.
I shared it with that group. Now and Beauty.
Oh, somebody else is on.
Oh.
Just waiting to see if anybody else joins us.
Oh, sorry, I knocked it. Just wanted to see how it looks.
We're just checking to make sure you can see what I'm going to be doing. That's not too bad. Do I need to zoom it in a bit more?
Probably a tad. It's a bit behind.
Yeah, that's all right. Is that better?
Mel Thompson's said, "Hey Mel."
Hi.
Yeah.
That's better. Right, so I'm gonna. Right, there's only a couple of you joined, but I'll get started. Otherwise, we'll be sitting here all night. Doing a new design on my daughter's nails. I did show a picture of a brown set that she fancied, so we're going to do our interpretation of that brown set. So I've filed back already and shaped all of them, bar the ring finger, because that one's slightly different. So I thought I'd quickly show you how I do the cuticle work and that on that one. Otherwise, you don't want to sit there watching me doing it on all of them. It gets a bit boring. So I'm using this bit. Okay, just to lift up the cuticle. I'm doing it on a slow setting.
Tanika said, "Hey."
Hi, Tanika. And you're doing circular motions. You're not sweeping, circular motions all the way round. And as you're doing it, you're pushing it just very gently. So you're pushing that cuticle back and doing down those sidewalls. Can you see it lifting up out of the way? That's what we want. We don't want anything left on that nail plate. All right. And as you can see, I'm not digging it. I'm keeping it flat. Because if you dig, you're going to put holes. Which is what I do to my right hand all the time with my left hand. But, you know, not on customers. Okay, and then what I do, I change over to my round bit. Can we see it? Again, on a really low speed.
Lisa Griffin said, "Hey Mel."
Hi, Lisa. And again, I'm pulling the skin back and I'm doing circular motions. Okay. You don't want to keep going over and over it. She's got a really stubborn bit there, so I'm just going to get that bit with the nippers. Otherwise, what you end up with is sore fingernails, sore fingers. You know, you see these pictures with bright red cuticle areas, and it's because they've been overworked. So you don't want to do that. And I'm just going over with a 180 sand bit, just very gently to make sure there's nothing else on there that shouldn't be. Again, you can see I'm keeping it flat. I'm pulling the skin away to make sure I can get the bit that I want to get without, so I don't burn them. Okay. So it's quite minimal contact, really. Hang on, I've had to move around, can't find the nippers. Right, so what I'm going to do is I spray my brush with isopropyl alcohol to get rid of the dust, so I can see exactly where I'm going to be nipping. Otherwise you could nip where you don't want to. And it's just this little bit here that she's got. I get it too on mine. And you nip and release. You don't tug or pull, otherwise you tear the skin. See? There's just a tad more in there. She's been very naughty today. She's been using bleach without gloves on. Okay, let's give that another clean. I'm just going to get my file. So this is, I've just got a blunt 150 file, and I'm literally just taking the corners off her nails, ready for me to fit the form. Okay. If I was doing a square nail, I would take that even shorter, but she's having a coffin, so we're not having to tilt the form up, so that's okay. Okay, so we'll brush it.
I don't know how to pronounce
Zita.
Zita said hey.
Hi, darling.
And Tanika said watch out, she's a bleeder.
She is. So I'm just cleaning with some cleanser, and the cleanser I'm using is from SBD. I can show you it, but you use whatever cleaner you've got. Okay, right, I'm just gonna get rid of this bit because it's got filings on it. I've got a thing about cleaning tissue. I've got this wonderful lint-free stuff that hubby orders from work for me. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm dehydrating. And I'm priming. So I'm going to be using both acid and acidless primer because Daisy struggles not necessarily with lifting, but she's not kind to them, so it gives them a bit more adhesion. But you use the primer that goes with your system. You do get these awkward customers. So how's everyone faring in the lockdown? It's driving me mad. I need to be working. Okay, so that's that bit done. So I'll add the form on, the ring finger, and I'm using an SBD form. Okay, so you roll it in between your fingers, and then I close the end because Daisy's a bit of an awkward customer. Open it up. Most of the time I don't need to cut these forms, but I think I'm going to have to cut this one. Cutting right at the edge of the form of the where the nail and the skin meets, the nail fold. I couldn't think of the word. Okay, and then what I do is I bend it down and snip it off because they get in my way. I don't like it. But you know, you don't have to snip it off. Let's see, I haven't cut that one enough. Let me just, there we go. Oh, that's it. Make sure those corners are tucked in. If you've got a rogue corner, which I think I might have, snip it off. Just that little bit there, look. I'm going to get rid of that bugger. Of course, it won't go easy because I'm doing a live. There we go. So it fits properly. Okay, pinch it at the end. Okay, so on her other nails, I'm just going to put a clear base. So because I'm putting coloured acrylic over it. So it doesn't stain the nail really. I just want to show you my pot. It is a candle holder, but when I'm using coloured acrylic, I have one for my clear and one for my colour, so my clear stays clear, if that makes sense. Otherwise it can get tainted. Okay, let's put the clear on. So you're only putting a little bit on, so that's way too much. I'll take some off. You're literally just creating a platform. Nice and thin. Okay. Some people don't do this, but I find if you've got someone that has design sets regularly, I find if you put your clear down, whether it's gel or acrylic, or acrygel for that matter, I find that you don't have to keep filing over the same bit of nail and it's protecting the nail. So literally I'm painting it on nice and thin, but it's just enough to protect that nail. I'm trying to get back in the game. I'd lost my mojo a little bit, so I just thought, get doing some lives, get working again. It's hard to keep the momentum going when you're locked down. Okay, so I've now got what's called a soft white. I'm just going to let the dog out quick. So it's not quite clear and it's not quite white. And this is what I'm going to do her ring finger. Sorry about that. Dogs. They think they want in on the action. So I'm using this one because the picture she's chosen, it's got a slight frosted look underneath. So I thought this would be ideal. I could have mixed it with clear to make it even more transparent, but I don't think I needed to. So remember, push that acrylic right in to the nail to make sure it adheres properly. Okay, and then once it starts setting a little, we walk it down the nail. And always remember with your bottom layers, thin but workable. There's a bit too much on that one. And remember, if you're doing a stiletto or like something that's tapered, take it much thinner than you anticipate your nail to be, because when you're adding, it will get thicker anyway. Okay? Otherwise, that's when you end up with those really wide, chunky nails that people do. Just making sure my sidewalls are not running. It's when you're working on a live, you can't quite see what you're doing. Okay, let's put that one away so I don't get mixed up. So Daisy's chosen some browns. So we got chocolate brown from NSI, quite an old one. And I've got antique bronze from CJP. Nice colours. And then I've got out ready some little leaves. So the coloured acrylic, I paint it on. Literally, I don't put thick, because they're not builder acrylics. They're just design acrylics, so they're not designed for strength. So is it 3 light and 1 dark?
Do you want me to show you again?
No, 2 dark, 2 light.
Yeah. I don't know why that took me so long to figure out.
Okay, so putting it on nice and thin and painting it on. And if you try and work as neat as possible, which is not always possible, but if you can, it helps with the filing. Then as I'm coming up to the cuticle, pull that skin back so it gives you the appearance that it's going underneath. Okay, I can see a little bit missing here. That's too much. As I say, some people work with just the coloured acrylic, but it's not stable enough for a full extension on its own. That's why a bit of clear underneath and a bit of clear on the top. I do know some of CJP ones are, so this one's probably, you could go without capping, but I'm not going to. I know they used to put a bit on, if it's got a cap on it, you have to cap it, and if it hasn't, you don't have to. I don't know if they still do that. Okay. So if I can show you the end, so can Daisy bend her finger? Nice and thin. Okay, so it's this one. Always wiping my brush in between, otherwise you get a build up in your brush and it's a bugger to get out. Learnt that the hard way. if you're not comfortable with using big beads of anything, start off with smaller beads. You can always add to it, but just be mindful that you're not adding too much. Pull the skin back. Okay, I could do with a bit more there.
Nan's watching.
Hi. Let me look. Just trying to see if it's making sure it's not patchy.
I was about to say on the camera you can see.
Can you?
Yeah, where it is patchy. But I think you got it.
Nice of you to tell me now, of course.
I just realised.
I think that could do with just being a little bit thicker here.
No, but hello YouTube.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm putting my lid on that one because I'm a nightmare for knocking things over. See, nearly knocked my drink over. Right, so that one's done. Let's get rid of the form and get it out of the way. I will file that in a minute. Yeah, gonna need a bit more on that one. Okay. Putting the skin back so I can push it in. And as you can see, I'm not walking this, I'm painting it. Which is what you're looking for. Otherwise it's too thick. Just making sure. Can you see any patches on the camera, Daisy?
No, that's pretty good.
Trouble when you're doing these sort of things, you can't quite always see what you're doing. Okay, fun. And you will have noticed that it's starting to look slightly thicker because we're adding to it. So that's why you overfile thinly so that you don't end up with too much and then you don't have to do so much filing. I was always taught work with the brush and not your file. So I constantly wiping my brush.
Nan said it looks like chocolate. It does.
It does look like chocolate. Maybe that's why Daisy secretly wants to have it.
Yes.
Because you do like a bit of chocolate.
I do. I remember I used to love double deckers. They were my all-time fave.
Twix is my all-time fave. Because I eat it dismantled. I have to eat the chocolate and the toffee bit first, then around the edges of the biscuit, and then the biscuit.
And Mum calls me weird for destructing my McDonald's burger.
I can't help it. It's even better if it's been in the fridge, because I can destruct it better.
Don't fall apart.
No. Then pulling that skin back. Am I hurting you?
No, my finger was stuck to your arm.
I remember the time when you had to leave a gap up by the cuticle, but that's not the case anymore.
No.
Not the fashion.
They just look outgrown.
It's a bit patchy there. Okay. So that's that one done. Right, so I'm just gonna...
Nice colours.
See, she doesn't keep her hand still, does she? Look, nightmare customer. I'm just gonna make sure I've got no bits that I don't want on here. Let's just look. I'll cut that bit off. I don't want. It all helps with the finishing the product off. Take a bit away. You know, you don't want to keep having to file too much at the end, because that's when you get your bald patches.
It's not in frame.
Sorry. Sorry. Just got a very good close-up of the skin on my hand. You forget. I'm just making sure that it's thin enough. Okay, so I'm not adding colour to this one, but I am adding leaves, so which can be a little bulky. So we need to make sure. Okay, I've got to fold my sheet over now because I've filed.
Look at that shape. Do be looking good.
Right, so when I'm putting stuff, encapsulating stuff, I'm just going to see if I can separate some. It's the trouble with these bits. They get stuck together and then you end up with really chunky bits. See, I know there's more than one there. I can see it, but I can't separate it. How do you separate them? I'll do it on the wet. It might do it on the wet. Okay, so I'm going to add just a very thin bit of clear, and I'm going to start here. And start adding my leaves. Okay. So these are holographic type leaves. So where was the gems on the
I think it was on one of these brown ones.
Okay, that's okay then. So just add a little bit.
It's on this one.
Okay, I'll just add a little bit more clear. Only a thin bit, just so it's wet. And I think we'll just do a pattern going down the side, like that. Do you like that?
Yeah, looks lovely, lovely.
Okay. I'm just gonna just temporarily put them in place just for a second. Move those out of my way so I don't chuck them everywhere. Yeah, really. And then I'm gonna start encapsulating. And this is why you keep your separate monomer, so your clear remains clear. Otherwise you end up with cloudy clears, which doesn't look good. Skin back. Making sure, keeping my brush clean, and now I'm walking it down my nail. Shaping and patting. It's all about the shaping and patting as you go. Took me years to understand the patting. Once I got it, I was off to a flying start, but it did take me a while. And again, it helps with the filing. The more work you do with your brush, the less filing. So it's just a tad too flat there, just very slightly. So I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of clear, blot it, and just put a bit there. Only a little bit. Okay. Go to the middle one. On a bigger nail, I tend to do it in 2 beads. But if you want to do it in 1 bead, that's fine, or 4 beads, that's up to you. Do what's more comfortable for you. It's a bit too much, isn't it? Then keep it patting. I should have had some music on, but I'm never sure if you're allowed to have music.
Can get done for copyright.
Yeah, everything's so blooming dodgy these days. You're never quite sure. And one thing I am not is a musician. Okay, so I'm leaving the majority of that bit to create my apex. Pushing it down, making sure. Okay, that bit's a bit. Okay. Next one. So when I'm encapsulating something that's like gems or sequiny things, I leave them to set for a minute while I do the others, and then go back to it, and then you know it's not going to move about. I'll skim back. Pattern and walking. Taking that bit off the end because I don't need it. I could do with a bit there. Just let that sit for a second. Okay, next one.
Deep one.
Yeah. Do many people use coloured acrylic these days, or is it all gel polish? That's when we're allowed to work, of course.
I prefer acrylic than gel polish sometimes. I don't know, it just looks so good.
Take that bit off. Too much. Again, patting. It's a bit boring, really. Sorry. She chose a boring set tonight.
Sorry, guys. I just really liked it. Maybe next time I'll get a good one. Mom's gonna wish she never said it.
Put my brush to go over it again. Make sure it's all where it should be. Okay. No, I still could do with a little bit more there. I'm not quite happy with that bit. And I could do it with just a tad more here. If anyone can hear that shouting, that very faint shouting in the background, that's my youngest on her Xbox upstairs. I didn't realise we could still hear her down here. That's better.
Mm.
Okay.
I think that's bad. My room's next door to hers. It's so loud sometimes. Don't know what she's doing in there.
A good tip when you're encapsulating, or even just putting acrylic on in general, tilt your customer's nails forward and it does half the work for you. See, pushing it right in, right down. And see, and you can already see that they are slightly fatter than what they were.
Tick. They're tick.
They're not tick, but it shows that over filing them.
Tanika, but she's talking to Zach.
Oh, is she? She's really loud. She did want to gift Zach something on what was it?
Fortnite, I think.
On Fortnite, but she can't remember her password, so she can't send it across to him. And of course, that's all our fault. Funny child.
She texts me. Daisy, do you mind if I borrow some money off you to pay for my, what's it?
She's bought him a football skin.
What are they called though?
So the skins are clothes. It's taken me about 2 years to learn that.
But what are the things called? The money? Oh, she's...
Vivos.
Vivos. And she goes, I'll pay you back when my bank account gets opened. She's so cute.
She's only 11, bless her. Okay, I'm just making sure my brush is clean. Putting it back into place. Move that out of the way. Move my monomer. I don't want to contaminate it. Okay, so when I file, I use my e-file around the cuticle, just my 180, really, it's a fine one. If you've got people that tend to bleed a bit easy, like my daughter, because they use chemicals, it helps with that.
Mum be complaining about me using bleach, but the house is thick and sound.
You got a bit of skin there. There we go.
Oh, dead skin everywhere.
Okay.
Peter said he ain't much better here. Lol kid. And she put V-Bucks, they're called.
Oh, V-Bucks. Do you know what? I've had a son go through all this. You'd think I'd learn all the lingo by now. But no.
I know a few bits, but not a lot.
See, I'm tilting my E-file just to create my nice slope up to my apex. I suffer with pains in my arms and my hands now. I used to do everything by hand. Can't really do that anymore. So you could do this a bit faster if you wanted to, but when you've got coloured acrylic, if you're not too careful, you can run the risk of getting bald patches. So I'm just doing the end a little bit. I am going to go underneath with another E-file. Just clearing out a bit of extra. Filing's a bit boring, sorry. Let's chat about something while I'm doing the boring bit.
I'm on pressure now, I don't know what to talk about. And that's new for me. I always like to talk about.
Okay, let's have the thumb. So what colour gems do you want?
It's alright.
That's pretty, didn't it?
What does she have on the picture? Let's have a look. They look like gold.
But you, your nails.
Yeah. What do you think will look better?
I don't know.
I don't know if gold would make it look cheap or not.
I know. Okay, so I'm just going to change my drill bit to, hang on. So I use this bit, it's quite a harsh one, to get out the middle bit, and then I go around with a thinner one. And it just basically stops the build up. Let's do this one because I think
I don't know if Tanisha's talking about subjects to talk about, but she put nails, lol, cute.
what?
I don't know.
Spends too much time with me.
Mum makes up her own language.
I do. So this technique you could be used to rebalance. Which is basically what I'm doing. File down to a thin layer and then remove the underneath at the end. But bear in mind, don't remove too much, otherwise you ruin your structure. Oh, sorry. With the harsher bit, you can't. Oh, I've done it again. You can't go too close up to the actual skin. It's because I'm supposed to reverse it and I can't be bothered. When I teach it properly. Oh look, there's a nice big chunky bit there. Turn that up a little bit. Is the one quiet tonight? No chatting?
Oh, she said talk about Mel's nails as they are beaut.
Oh, right, okay.
What you got there, Andy?
Yeah. I'm a bit slow. Sorry. Just trying to find the correct drill bit. So not organised. Here we go. I'm slowly lengthening my nails again, and I'm struggling. I keep forgetting I've got long nails.
I love long nails. Those make me feel bougie.
So I'm literally going up underneath the skin with this bit. I didn't show you it. It's this bit. It's like a needle one. And so I can get in on those corners and up underneath the skin. Don't know why I'm doing that one because that's a new one, but you never know.
Never be too short.
Most of my customers love this bit. They say it makes their nails feel really clean. Some customers, on the other hand, like the fact that their nails are underneath.
Oh, I can't stand it. Because I end up picking it.
I do the same.
Oh, it just doesn't look right.
See, there's hardly any trace left of the last set now. Daisy's a bit cack-handed. So. There's a bit there that's... Let me just do that with a hand file a minute.
What are you talking about?
There's a little lump that went underneath. Okay, swing it back over. See what I mean? Cack-handed.
My arm just doesn't want to bend that way.
And she's double jointed.
Sneakers are staying here, always pick naughty. And yeah, I'm double jointed as well. You'd think I'd be able to do it if I was double jointed.
Okay.
I think it's because this is here as well. I don't want to knock it.
All right, maybe. That's her excuse anyway. So I want to use I can find my file. I'm using 100 grit for the edges from SBD. And then I use either 180 or I've got a 240 there, just to give it a rub over. Especially with this one, because we don't want to see scratches. See, keeping my finger pressed against the nail and keeping my file flat. No doing this or doing this. You want a flat sidewall. Okay. That's where you struggle with shaping if you haven't. It's all about holding the file correctly. So do the underneath. Just give it a go. Round it off so there's no sharp corners. Go with my finer one. Because it's coloured acrylic and that, you could use a white block or something. I tend to just use these files.
Mum, you read my mind. I was going to ask you to do that.
Do what?
Go across. My ICD was like...
We do it last because you don't want to overdo it. Oh, I didn't do the cuticle on this one. That's because I was left it till last because I've only just done it. Okay. Who uses dust extractor fans? I've tried using them, I just can't get along with them.
Nika said always struggle, flat file, always goes free my mind, and someone just put, Louise, do you teach them?
I do. Yes, I do. Message me and I can give you details. One of the reasons I've started doing lives again, getting myself out there a little bit more, because I got a bit fed up and lazy and despondent. Blooming lockdowns. I can understand the necessity for them, but I do struggle with them. See, straight file. Otherwise you'll be filing forever, because you'll be constantly trying to correct your filing.
Louise said, wow, brilliant, will do.
That needs to be brought over just a slight bit. Do my bottom bit. It's just sticking out a little bit, so I thought best do the edge so Daisy doesn't get panicky. And what I tend to do is I start here, can you see? So I start here and then I flatten my file and then I bring it round to the other side. Yeah. Should I do it again?
Yeah.
Should I zoom it back out a bit so you can see a bit? Oh, wrong way. Right.
There we go.
So what I do, I do the file like this, then flatten it and then bring it round to the side and go backwards and do it again. And the reason I do that is so I don't end up lopsided filing. Have you ever filed and one side is lopsided?
Me. When I was practicing.
It helps avoid that. See? Just keep the file moving constantly, and that way you won't overfile one side, which is an easy mistake to do. And supporting your customers now the whole time, because if you don't, it ends up feeling bruised, and I've had that done to me and it's not very comfortable. You know, it spoils the experience of having your nails done. You know, nails are a luxury, and you know, you want your customers to keep coming back to you, especially in this climate at the moment. So if you don't make their fingers feel bruised, they're more inclined to come back. So doing that motion again just to make sure. And don't be afraid to move your customers' hands about to look. Because sometimes you can't always see it from your angle, so you have to move it about to get a good old butcher's at it. I know what gems. So I'm multitasking. I'm sitting here thinking about what gems to put on. I've got gems that are very similar, holographic-y, like the...
Yeah.
I think that might work.
That'll tie in nicely.
Okay, next one. You can see, obviously filing still takes time, but you can see that by working more with the brush, less work with the file. There's always a certain amount of filing that you need to do, and because I've rebalanced slightly, it's been a little bit more, but it's worth it. It's worth that extra effort when using your brush. Okay. Go over. Just making sure it's all continuously smooth, no edges anywhere. Okay, so then what I do is I go along afterwards. Don't always need to do it, but I do it nevertheless with my sanding bit, and then just tidy up the end if in case it needs it. It doesn't always need it, but it's a habit I've got myself into, and now I've done it, I can't get out of it. Okay, okay, let's move everything out of the way. Has anyone got any questions, or are you all just sitting there watching, chilling? Spraying the back of, I'm spraying my brush again to get rid of any dust. You've got a very slight owie there.
Doesn't hurt.
Told you, her skin's terrible.
I'm a beauty therapist. You think I'd moisturise my hands every day, but I don't.
Saying that though, look, if I brush my own fingers, I've been picking, and I picked here, look. Terrible.
Disgrace.
Absolutely.
Nan said they look beautiful.
Okay, we haven't quite finished yet. Let me just get the gems. Got gems coming out my ear rolls.
I have such diddy fingers, don't I?
Yeah.
Nail plates.
I don't think I like them. Hang on, I'm having a moment.
Mum will be there a while looking for them.
I used to be so organised. I've just chucked stuff in drawers now. I'm getting really bad for it. I don't know if they're going to go, you know. Hang on, I'm having a moment of crisis here. Bear with me. Brown gems. That's not something I buy. Oh, what colour are they? They're not brown, are they?
No. Are they good?
Oh, no. Hang on, still looking.
I don't like those ones.
Disorganised. I'm terrible. They're black. We don't want black. No. 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 They're pink. We don't want pink really, do we? They're like a really pastel pink though. Let me look here. What about these ones?
Oh, them?
Yeah.
They're nice.
They're like a burgundy
Yeah.
brownie colour. Do you fancy those?
Yes, we found some.
Okay. We're on a roll. Let me just get my gem picker. Okay, gem pickers from SBD. My nail glue, the glue for my gems is SBD. Absolutely. I have got quite a bit of their stuff at the moment. Yeah. I go through my fads. It's because I've tried being a brand ambassador and I struggled, but I'm thinking about doing it again. So it's just in this corner here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So put that on, put the lid on. I'm terrible.
That's good.
She says. Sometimes I put them in a tray.
I always struggle to get gems out.
Do you know what? I've bought loads of these gem pickers in the past and none of them have blooming worked. But these ones, this one actually does. It does what it says on the box. I don't think we're going to go too big because you're a bit of a bugger. Got these diddy ones.
This glue's so good as well.
It is really good.
I remember when we first used it on me and that gem stayed on for the whole like 5 weeks, didn't it?
It did.
It was amazing. And I'm a beauty therapist as well, so I was washing my hands and all that jazz.
Do you want just those or do you want a bit more in front?
Maybe a few more in front. I might do the whole now while I'm at it.
I don't like that whole look, do you?
I don't know, sometimes it looks okay.
It just looks so chunky when it's the whole look.
Lovely.
Right, put that in the lamp for me. Let me put these back. I knew I had something that would
I was going
look
to give
right.
you this hand one.
No, we haven't done that one.
It's just a natural reflex.
We'll do the other one tomorrow. I just thought I'd share. Right, so are we going for matte or shiny?
Shiny.
Daisy doesn't do matte.
I always feel like it looks unfinished, but in the photos it never does. But I think it's because it's photoshopped or like blurred.
Some of them are, yeah.
They always look really good, but when you do it, you did it once on me, and I just kept looking at it thinking, this doesn't look finished. Never again.
Yeah, the pictures are.
They look really good, don't they? Like the one I showed you.
Yeah, it's velvety matte colour.
I bet if I did it on there, I wouldn't like it.
Okay, we won't bother. We'll just go straight to the shiny then. Okay, bring that out.
I'll wait for a kettle.
Sorry, I've got a tickly cough. Not COVID. Asthma.
It's alright, they can't catch over this anyway.
It's awful that you've got to say though, isn't it? Sorry, it's not COVID.
I'm the same, but I smoke. So I have a smoker's cough.
So obviously with a clearish nail, this is a frosted clear nail. I always put a bit underneath. I'm just going to have a drink, sorry. Otherwise I'm going to be coughing. I get a tickle in the back of my throat. I always say, obviously don't overload it. But don't skimp with your top coat either. There's nothing worse than a skimp top coat. See what I mean?
That's it, she's tired now. She's not going to stop. There's just a bit there.
Sorry, I'm trying to not cough. Charming when you're on a live, isn't it? Coughing down the camera at everybody. Okay, put that in the lamp. While I choke.
It's alright, she'll die quietly.
Oh, it's awful. I get these tickles and I can't get rid of it. But no more diabetic medication. I was told today. I was so chuffed.
That is good, Mum. Well
So, healthy eating and all that. The last time we did leaves, we did weed ones. It's funny the amount of people thought they were palm trees.
Yeah, when I went to work, people said, "Oh, they're nice palm trees." I just went along with it. I was like, "Yeah, nice."
I'm just clearing up. I always clear up as I go. I've got into the habit, obviously not at the moment because we're not working, but I've got into the habit of sanitising and clearing up everything in front of my customers. I used to wait until they'd gone to do it in between customers, but I do it.
That's how we get taught though, because it always looks rude and sounds rude that you're tidying up around them.
Yeah.
That's what we get taught in college, but because of this COVID now, they're like, yeah, scrap that, just do it in front of them.
Yeah. So I'm not doing anything different to what I did before, but I'll just do it in front of them now. Everyone's seen my pencil case. Look. Got all my brushes in it.
He uses about 2 of them.
No, I don't. I use all of them. Amazing Amazon pencil case.
And they're done.
Okay. I put some oil on. I like that frosted bite.
I know, it's actually pretty.
Okay, I'll take a pic and put it up. So, any questions or anything, you can inbox me. I hope you enjoyed it. I do waffle these days. I've got confident talking, so I waffle. And I'm going to try and do a few more. So, if there's anything you'd like to see me do, give me a suggestion and I'll give it a go. So, it's always hard to try and work out what people want to see. Okay then. Don't do that. That's the dick pose. Don't do that pose.
Why?
Because it's dick pose.
Okay.
I didn't like to say that out loud. Yeah, you don't do those poses. So yeah. So anyhow, I'll put a picture up so you can all see. Okay. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.